See if we can get anybody on here tonight. Do a little live chat. Hadn't done this in a long time. Thought I'd jump on here and see if anybody wants to tell me what you've been up to, see what I've been up to, what's going on. Tune in, ask them. It's been a while since I've been on here. Just kind of a spur of the moment thing. Figured I'd see what y'all got going on. Maybe you want to ask me what I got going on. Let me know. Captain, what's going on up there in the great north where you are? How's your things been? Tim Cochran's on. What's up, Tim? Hey, I'm gonna bring up Tim for a second. I hadn't really said much about it, but I don't know if you watched my teal season videos. I got a new intro song on there called "Bust 'Em Up," and Tim Cochran did the honors of putting that song together for me. It's a really cool song. I really like it. Hope you guys do too. Only got a few people on here. Maybe we can get some to join in. Like I said, I just kind of sitting around out here at the office, and I was like, hey, you know what? I'm gonna go live, see if I can get anybody to join in, ask some questions, see if they got anything. Maybe want to know what I got going on, what I got coming up. Let's talk about this upcoming duck season. If you've been out, if season's in where you are, tell me how things is going with you. Be kind of curious to see how the migration is progressing so far. I know it's been really dry up in the north part, across the plains and Prairie, Canada. Really dry summer, dry fall. So kind of curious how things is going up there and what y'all think it may, how the duck season may go, if you think that's going to affect it or not. Philip, hey man, yeah, it's the first time I've been live in, man, well over a year, I guess. Just kind of got a little hankering to go live and see what y'all are up to. Howdy from SA, Texas. Was that San Antonio? Is that where you are? Rick says the weather's still warm up there where he's at. He's in Wisconsin, 72 degrees today. Yeah, that's kind of about what it's been here. It got up to 75 here, and it's down about, I think it's in the low 60s right now. It's supposed to get down to about 44 tonight. So it's a little cool front coming through down here in the south. It won't last though. I was looking at the weather earlier, and it's supposed to, I think tonight's actually the last night. It's going to get back up in the mid to high 60s for the remainder part of the week, and back up in the high 70s, low 80s for the highs. Bro, was that a wasp? It might be. I'm glad you said something like that. And that definitely is a wasp on my head. Glad you said something about that. Didn't know on my head. I don't know where he came from. Appreciate that, man. That'd have been a nice surprise to get popped in the back of the head by a wasp, not knowing it. Reese Garcia says he's waiting on decoys, rigs, and waders, hoping this Texas season is better. Man, I hope so too. I got high hopes. I don't know about y'all, but like I said earlier, you know, it was really dry across the prairies up north, the plain area, north and south Dakota. Nebraska was really dry this year. Some parts of Kansas, Prairie, Canada, also very dry. So I got high hopes for this season, man. I don't want anybody to take offense to this, but I kind of got a gut feeling that a lot of the ducks may want to maybe not check up on their migration and just kind of come on down further south looking for water, for roosting and things like that. I know some of the farmers have struggled up there. If it hadn't been for pivots and irrigation, their crops would have really been in a bind this year. So I'm kind of curious to see how the migration is going to go this year. I know, you know, last year it was fairly dry up there. You know, me and Cade went up to Nebraska end of October, first week of November last year, and it was extremely dry, but there still was some water in places that the game and part division had pumped in some of those places, and they were still holding a good many ducks, but it was a lot drier this year than it was the year before. A lot of wildfires and stuff going across there. So I'm really curious to see how the migration is going to go. Let's see. He says he's a beginner. I'm a beginner getting into duck hunting, training his lab himself. We'll be ready for next season, just gathering gear till then. Man, that's what it's about. I don't have a dog. That's something I've kind of always wanted a dog, but I work shift work. Some of you know that, some of you do not. I work at a paper mill. I work rotating 12-hour shifts, and I just don't know that I have time for a dog. If I was to ever get a dog, it would definitely be something I would have to get and probably send off to be trained, because I just don't think that I have the time to put with a dog myself. But you training yours yourself, man, that's awesome. If I had the time to do that, that's something I would definitely want to do, is train my dog myself. I think it gives you a really good relationship and connection with the dog. So that's really cool, man. I hope that works out for you. Deer Slayer says Alabama is full of woodies as always. That's very true. That's our state bird. Should be anyway. We have an abundant supply of woodies, and that's something I think I'm going to do a little bit this year. I haven't really hunted here a lot in the past couple of seasons, and I think this year I'm going to get after the woodies a good bit between trips, between my travels, whatnot. I think I'm going to go bang on some of them woodies. I haven't done it. I haven't been on a really good woody shoot in quite a while, so kind of got the urge to go just bang on some woodies. So might hopefully look forward to those couple of those videos maybe this year between trips. Wow, we got a lot of comments here. I got to get caught up. Let's see. Yep, Rick, that was definitely a wasp on my hat. I swatted him against the wall here, so we took care of that problem. Philip says I have a feeling this season is going to be great. We started off wood duck season with a bang. Bring on the greenheads. I agree, man. I think it's going to be a really good season, weather permitting. The weather is the #1 factor in waterfowl migration. So I'm thinking if we have inclement weather, I think it's going to be a really good migration, just because the whole northern portion of the country suffered a really, really severe drought this summer and spring and whatnot. So I think that's really going to help us southern boys out. Ray Gonzalez says he just moved to the Huntsville area and going to be my second season. Any advice for a new hunter and being new to Alabama? Well, I've never hunted the northern part of Alabama, to be honest with you. I hear it can be really good. I do know that northern Alabama does tend to get more ducks than we do here in the deep south part of Alabama where I am. I'm only a couple hours from the beach, from the Gulf. So they typically get more ducks up there. I know Lake Guntersville typically holds a good many mallards and a lot of divers. Huntsville, I don't know exactly what lakes and rivers you'd be really close to up there. I'm not very familiar with that area. I've only been to Huntsville a time or two in my life. Wheeler Lake can be a good place. I hear a lot of people talking about Wheeler Lake. Of course, you'd have to have a boat. There's not a whole lot of walk-in hunting in Alabama. There is one place, I think, Swan Creek, maybe. I think something like that. Swan Creek, WMA. I think they have some walk-in hunting, but it may be a draw system. I'm not real sure. You have to look into that. Let's see. Black Oak says, what happened to Magnolia Waterfowl? Ain't seen him post anything lately. To be completely honest with you, I've talked to Derek a good bit from Magnolia. He has had a really, really rough year, man. I'm not going to go into any details about his personal life, but it's really health issues. He's had some really, really bad health issues this year, and that's why you really haven't seen anything or heard anything from him. He has been in and out of the hospital a lot this year. He's had some serious health issues going on. And, me and Jake from Chasing Green are really big buddies. We've all prayed for him. A lot of guys have prayed for him. hoping that he can recover and hopefully get after some ducks this season. But at this point, I really don't know, man. I hope he'll be able to hunt this year. I hope you'll see some content come out from him this year, but I really don't know. I haven't talked to him in probably a month now, but last I heard, he was doing fairly well, but I do know he has been in and out of the doctor and the hospital a lot in the last, let's say 3.5 months. He's had a really rough time. Deer Slayer says, I trained my puppy myself and I'm 14. Man, that's awesome. That is really cool. That's really good. I had a buddy of mine when I was a teenager. One of my really good friends, he got a lab and he trained he read, it was a book. I can't remember what it was called, Water Dog or something like that. I don't know. Anyway, he read that book and he got out there and trained the dog himself. Now, he wasn't no jam up dog. He didn't do blind retrieves or anything like that. But he was a very well disciplined dog. He'd sit, stay. You know, he marked very well. Very good dog. So yeah, if you put in the time and discipline yourself to focus on the dog and the training, you can definitely do it yourself at a young age. Graydon Curtis says, what part of the black belt are you in? I'm not very familiar. Well, I'm not sure if you're familiar with the black belt region. I am located in Camden, Alabama. I'm about an hour and a half south of Montgomery, kind of southwest of Montgomery. So kind of right in the south central part of the black belt is where I am. Rick says he just ate duck for supper tonight. It's funny you say that. Before I started midnights the other week, I was sitting here at the house. My wife and the kids were at school. Wife was at work. And I was like, man, what am I going to eat? What am I going to take to work for supper at night? So I went out in the freezer and I pulled out. I had 3 mallard duck steaks, you know, skin on, double breast on the skin. Pulled them out of the freezer, thawed them out, marinated them up real good, seasoned them up real good, put them on the grill, cooked them to about medium rare. Man, they were fine. I can't wait. I can't wait to get some fresh ducks. Still got a few left in the freezer, a lot of snow geese, but I'm running shy on the mallard duck. So hopefully I got a trip coming up here in the next few weeks. Hopefully I can bring home some big fat greenheads and get my supply built back up. Let's see. He says he works. Is that Jose? Is that how you say your name? Is it Jose or is it Josie? I'm not real sure. I hate to booger your name, but I am not good with names. He said he works 6-7 days a week, 12 hours a day, only do one session, 15 minutes a day. It's going to take a while, but he's getting closer on and off the leash, collar conditions. Yeah, man, that's good. Put all the time you can with him, man. Yeah, I work a very similar shift rotation like you do, and I mean, all joking aside, I could probably figure out and find enough time to put with a dog, but you know, I've got 3 kids. One's fixing to be 16 in a few months. My daughter's 13, and I got an 8-year-old. And between football, baseball, volleyball, cheerleading, and t-ball and softball, we are pretty strung out around here. That's why I say I really just don't know if I have the time to put with one. Let's see. Art says it was in the high 70s for the opener 2 weeks ago here in mid-Mission. Man, that's pretty warm weather, but that's kind of our typical opener around here as well. How'd y'all do for your opener? One of his buddies said the migration is starting up north. He saw hundreds of redheads in Lake. That's good, man. I figured they ought to be heading this way. I really haven't looked at the weather for the northern part of the country or southern parts of Canada, but I'm sure there ought to be starting to be some birds showed up. I know I talked to Jake from Chasing Green the other day, and he said there was a lot of ducks starting to show up in Arkansas, lots of speckled bellies, some pintails, things like that. So they're on the way. They're coming. Philip says, what part of Alabama are you in? I used to live in Geneva. I'm in Camden, Alabama, in Wilcox County. That's where I'm at. Deer Slayer says, Lowndes W may have some walk-in hunting. Yeah, I forget about Lowndes. I forget about that one. Like I said, I don't hunt around here as much as I used to. I fell in love with that Central Flyway, and I try to spend as much of my duck season as I can somewhere in that Central Flyway. I really like it. Now, you know, I'm a Mississippi Flyway born and raised, but I enjoy going to Arkansas, but it's something about that Central Flyway. If you've never experienced it coming from the Mississippi Flyway over there, it's truly special to me anyway. Black Oak says, "Oh, good Lord, I pray for him. Sorry to hear." Yeah, Derek, man, all of y'all. I ask all of y'all, please pray for Derek from Magnolia Flyways. He has had a rough year. Like I said, I'm not going to go into any details on exactly what he's had going on. It's not my place to. But I will ask you to pray for him. He has had a really rough time, and I hope that he's able to get out and hunt some this year. But, I don't know. It's all going to depend on his health. Chris Byer says, scouting is #1 for new hunters. Spend some time on Google Earth. Also get Binocular. Doesn't pay. It doesn't do any good to train them to leave when they hear a mumble or 2 cents. You're exactly right. Jumping ducks is not scouting. It's just a fact. Going in there and flushing them, you ain't doing nothing but hurting yourself. You need to park your boat, walk in, or get there really early. If there's an area you think they're hidden, get there really early, park your boat, hide your boat, and set up and just watch. And then wait for them to leave, and then you leave after they're gone, so you don't spook them. That's typically the way I do. Unless you're hunting prairie pothole country or prairie marshes, you may can do some road scouting and things like that. Pair of binoculars, spotting scope, things like that is really huge. Let's see. What's up, Iowa Outdoorsman? Glad to have you on, Money. Luke Fawcett, how you doing? I'm doing well, man. Glad to see you on here. It's been a while. Okay, Santa Jose. Okay, that's right. Hey, I thought it was Jose, but I wasn't real sure. I didn't, like I said, no offense. I didn't want to butcher your name. I've been known to do that. San Antonio, South Texas. Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of Hispanics down there, but hey, that's great. There's nothing wrong with that. We love everybody. We're duck hunting as a community. It don't matter what color, race you are, where you come from. We love everybody. Lynn Jordan says, hey, love them retrievers. Oh, yeah. Lynn, he's a dog trainer. Deer Slayer, if you got any questions about training a dog, Lynn Jordan's on here. Hit him up. This man knows some stuff about a dog. Graydon Curtis, familiar with the west end of the Black Belt. I'm from East Mississippi, right on the Alabama line. I know where Camden is. You're way down there, brother. Praying for a hard winter for y'all. Yeah, I'm hoping we get a good winter and good cold front. Hopefully get a lot of good cold fronts this year. I got some trips coming up in a few weeks. I'm going to be heading out in the next few weeks. Me and Jake from Chasing Green have a little trip planned up, headed over to the Central Flyway. Not really going to disclose that area. We just kind of like to keep that thing to kind of keep our locations private. No offense, but we're not celebrities by no means, but people on YouTube do. They follow you and try to keep up with you. If you know how some people are, if they can find out where you are, they'll kind of slide in there on you or whatever it may be. So we just kind of keep that stuff tight-lipped. Graydon, you said you're in East Mississippi. What part of East Mississippi are you in? Where are you at exactly? I'm pretty familiar with with Mississippi. I've done a little hunting over there. Some. Lynn Jordan says, hope you win that timber call. Man, you talking about the Echo video? Yeah, me too, man. I'm an Echo man. I actually just ordered a brand new Echo call. Was it Friday? I think it was. I've got a couple of Echo calls, but I don't have any acrylics. I've never really been a big fan of acrylic. I like a wood call just because I like that mellow tone. It just sounds a lot more duckier to me. But anybody who knows acrylic, you can get really loud with. And so I didn't have that. So I was like, well, let me get me an acrylic call. So I ordered me an acrylic Echo the other day. Graydon says there's thousands of specs in East Arkansas right now, and more to come based on recent experience. Yeah, I heard the same thing. I was on the phone with Jake a couple of days ago, and he said that he lives in North Arkansas, and he had traveled down to the southern part of Arkansas, and he said, man, he said Arkansas is starting to load up with specs, and saw a good many ducks too. So they're on the way. I don't know what that guy's talking about. Hunting hub. I don't know what that is. Luke Fawcett said he's got a brown lab. He's okay at duck hunting this year. Will be his first year to really. So that's good, man. I hope you have a good season with him. Good luck. It's always not really gonna say a risk, but you don't ever know what you're getting into with that first season with a dog. I have been with some people in the past, and it was their dog's first season hunting, and you know, you take them out one day and they did great, and the next day they were just a total pain in the butt. But I think all that goes back to training, discipline, how much time you put with them. So I hope you have a good season with your dog, man. Art Martin, we did good for an opener on public land. Always a circus on the opener, but we got lots of Canada geese on the opener, but only 6 ducks. Well, that's all right. Nothing wrong with that. I know in the trip I've got coming up, we're planning to try to get after some honkers a couple of times. If we can find some, if we can get on a good feed somewhere or find some on some big water, we're going to try to get after some honkers. But the main focus obviously is ducks. But if we can find a good place to set up on some honkers, we're definitely going to try that for sure. Lynn, if you're on here, Luke is asking you a question about some dog stuff. Graydon Curly, I'm from Macon, live in Fayetteville, Arkansas, northwest corner of the state. Now my mom's family is from down there in Macon, and my dad's from East Arkansas. Okay, that's pretty cool. All right, man, that's awesome. Kenny Young, any tips for scouting / finding birds without a boat? Ever hunted Middle Georgia? No, I have never hunted the state of Georgia, and I know absolutely nothing about Georgia. I don't know, if they have a lot of walk-in hunting over there or not. If you don't have a boat, it's going to be really hard to find some birds on big lakes and places like that, obviously, which is what we have over here in the south central part of Alabama. It's all lakes and river systems. So in order to duck hunt where I live, you've got to have a boat. There's no walk-in hunting. There are a few WMAs in the northern part of the state that do have some walk-in hunting, but it's a pretty good ride for me. And the duck hunting is not that great in Alabama. So to me, it's just not worth a couple hour ride for a walk-in hunting. Personally, not here. But Georgia, man, scouting is scouting, whether you're on foot or on boat. Number one goal is you got to find the birds, obviously, and you don't want to spook them. You need to, you just need to get on Onyx maps, maybe Google Earth, something like that. Find a place that you think looks good and maybe holds some birds, and you're going to figure out how you're going to get there, whether it be on foot, by car, by boat. If you have a boat, which you said you didn't, but you may can find somebody to hunt with that has a boat, and take you a pair of binoculars, a spotting scope, something like that if you've got it, and just see. You may have to go out there and sit for hours, and if you don't see anything, move on. But you need to try to identify the roost, obviously, try to figure out where they're going to go and feed, where they're going to loaf, things like that. But that would be my tip. Start on Onyx, Google Earth, find some places that just looks ducky, looks like places that are secluded, maybe some flooded fields. I mean, I don't know, what there is over there in Georgia. Honestly, I have really got no information on the state of Georgia. But number one, just don't spook the birds. You're not doing yourself any good if you spook the birds. If you find them, don't flush them. Just watch them. Watch where they're coming from. Watch where they're going, the places, the spots that they want to be on that particular body of water or marsh or whatever it may be. Pinpoint that, where they're coming from, what they're doing there. Are they feeding? Are they loafing? Is it a rest hole? What are they doing? Is it a roost? You got to figure these kind of things out and then plan from there and map out your area. Pick you out, as many places as you possibly can in an area, and you can bounce around. If you get there and do some scouting by foot and you get there and you don't see any ducks, you don't hear any ducks, if you can walk around the water, look for feathers, that'll give you a little bit of information anyway. Hey, my wife's showing up out here. You want to get on here? Yeah. What you got? She's asking me something. Sorry, my wife's tuning in here. Yeah, I saw that. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what that is.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, sorry guys, my wife was asking me something. Um, let's see. All right, William Self Jr. Kenny Young on XApp on XApp would be the best bet, and don't be afraid to knock on the farmer's door. Absolutely, man. Never be afraid to ask for permission, knock on the door, ask for somebody if you can go and hunt there. The worst thing they can tell you is no, and I don't. This is something I've never done. I have some friends of mine who live in North Alabama, and I know they go to Oklahoma a lot. They go every year to Oklahoma and they hunt. And they start out hunting public land, but if they find the birds on a field, on a feed, on private land, they find out on Onyx, whatever, who owns the property. And it's usually 4 of those guys who go out there every year. And what they do is they pool $25 a piece, and they come up with $100, and they go and they knock on the farmer's door and they ask if they can hunt. Well, if the farmer says no, then they offer him, say, hey, look, man, what if I give you $100 for a day hunt? Some people agree with that, some people don't, but hey, it works for them. I'm not really open to paying anybody to go hunt some ducks when I can go set up on them on public land. But I know they do that and it works for them. But that's all depends on your wallet and things like that. It's not really something I would recommend unless something you would be interested in. It's the thought, but never be afraid to ask somebody to hunt. Worst thing they can say is no. Oh, let's see. Tim Cochran, can you explain what the black belt is? I'm not an Alabama guy. All right, where I live is called the Black Belt region. All right, if you look at the state of Alabama on a map, it goes across into parts of Mississippi and I think even on into Georgia a little bit. Anyway, it's a strip right across the middle portion of Alabama and, like I said, into Mississippi and I think parts of Georgia as well. But it's called the Black Belt region, and it's called that because of the soil content. It's really, really rich, fertile ground down here. A lot of river bottoms and things like that. So it's really, really, really fertile ground. And the dirt, some of it in some places is literally almost black. It's just really, really rich ground. So they call it the Black Belt because it's really a narrow strip that runs across a portion of the state. So that's where the name Black Belt Waterfowl come from. It's my general location where I'm located. Let's see. Oh, Jose said he's talking to Lynn. His dog is calling. That's great, man. Y'all ask Lynn about this dog stuff. He can help you out. I'm telling you. This man knows his dog stuff. Not to mention that he's also a super lucky guy. He's won like 3 or 4 giveaways this year. He won my giveaway with the decoys. He won an Onyx package on Chasing Green's channel and won a duck call, I think, maybe. Won something on the Echo's channel too. So I know of 3 giveaways the man's won this year. He ought to have a really good season because luck is on his side, that's for sure. And we'd all rather be lucky than good. That's a fact. Rick says, are the hoodies in yet that I can order one? I've been waiting on that question because I am currently wearing a Black Belt Waterfowl hoodie right now. The answer to that question is no, the hoodies are not. This hoodie that I'm wearing was made for me by my loving wife. Some of you know they've been following the channel for a while. I went on a snow goose hunt last year in Arkansas. Didn't have a whole lot of white clothing. It was something I'd never done before. So my wife made these. She made me 3 or 4 of these hoodies up last year, just kind of on the fly. But no, the hoodies are not ready. And to be honest with you, I'm hoping to get them out by Christmas. But honestly, I don't know at this point. COVID and a lot of other things have really thrown a wrench in the cogs on a lot of things this year, which I know most of you know. But really the biggest holdup has really been me. I'm wanting to do, obviously the Black Belt Waterfowl, but I'm wanting to do some type of design, not really a logo, but just something on it besides the lettering. and I really have not settled on anything yet. So that has really been a big hold up, obviously, because I don't really know exactly what I want on them yet. I'm thinking about black belt waterfowl on the front, maybe, or maybe just on the chest pocket or pocket area, and then maybe bust them up down a sleeve. I don't know. I really kind of tossing around some ideas. I've got a lot of ideas. I just can't settle on one. So yes, and Rick, you know it. I will definitely let you know as soon as I get them. I got your number. I'll shoot you a text as soon as all that is finalized and I get them in. You know, I'll let you know, buddy. Hey, Lynn, man, we appreciate you, man. You know, I'm congratulating you on winning my decoys that I gave away this year. Jake's on-edge package and the Echo Call. Man, it's just, you know, the giveaways and stuff. That's just a great way for us to say thanks and give back to you guys who are in the comment section week in and week out on each video we post. And you know, it means a lot to us when we post a video to see the same people in the comments, you know, every week. So it's just a great way to give back to the guys that give us the most support. Hey, Lynn, Jose's got a Jose said you didn't answer his question. Y'all got any questions for me as far as like what we got coming up this upcoming season or anything like that? Also, I was going to ask you guys if you have any particular type of video that you would like to see other than a hunting video, obviously. Let me know in the comments. I've got a few things I've been tossing around, not really settled on any of them. You know, season is in for a lot of you. It hadn't come in here for us. We got about another month or so, call it a month and a week before it actually comes in down here. But I'm going to get, like I said earlier, I'm kicking my season off a little early this year. Jake and I are going on a trip here in a couple of weeks. So, yeah, if you got any videos, you know, anything, any video topics you'd like to hear or see between now and or any during the duck season, let me know in the comments below. Let me know if there's anything you'd like to see, things you may want to know about that you don't know about, that kind of thing. Jose says, how long you been hunting? He's a new sub, only been here a few months or so. I have been duck hunting I went on my first duck hunt when I was 14 years old. I'm currently 36 years old. I did go for a few years where I didn't hunt them. I didn't duck hunt much, and that was before I was working at the paper mill at my job now. I was traveled a whole lot and worked a lot of crazy hours. So I was working construction as a welder, and I traveled around a lot. I wasn't always working close to home. I was having to leave and get up at, you know, 2:30 in the morning, drive to work 10, 12 hours, and then, you know, make a couple hour ride back home, whatever it may be. So I didn't really get to do a whole lot of hunting that year, not to mention, well, those years. And we were also in the process of building a mill during that time, and we were working a lot of 7-day, 10 and 12-hour days. So that just kind of, that knocked out the duck hunting. But once I got away from all that, got a good job at the paper mill, I was able to get back into it. So, you know, if I had to say a time frame, you know, like I said, the first duck hunt, I was 14 years old and I'm 36 now. So, you know, that's a pretty good while. What's that? 20 plus years, 15 plus, 20 plus, something like that. It's been a long time, give or take a few years. I didn't hunt. Oh, let's see. Luke says he's got 3 or so weeks. He's pretty sure before duck season opens up here in East Texas, it's about to be a woody smackdown, most likely in the walk-in where I hunt. There ain't nothing wrong with that, man. There ain't no shame in shooting woodies. I'll shoot him in a heartbeat. He better not come close enough. I wish they'd raise the bag limit. I don't know what y'all's bag limit is over there. You know, here we can kill 3. When I first started hunting, you couldn't kill but 2, and then they raised the bag limit to 3 on them. I kind of wish they'd go to 4, because over here where I am, man, anybody who's from Alabama can tell you, man, we are loaded with wood ducks. That is our #1 duck. Jose said he's 24. He hopes to waterfowl for years to come as well. I hope so too, man. It's a really good sport. The thing about duck hunting, it's not about killing the ducks, going out there and just shooting a bunch of shells and killing ducks. What I like the most about duck hunting is it's the subtleties of the sport. It's the subtleties of setting the decoys right, calling the birds, using the call right, knowing when to call, when not to call, reading the birds, and then ultimately get them in the hole, get them on the water, whatever it may be, and finish them out and kill them. It's a chess match. And, so I kind of compare it to turkey hunting. Turkey hunting, it is a 100% chess match. You are trying to convince that bird that you are a hen, and you want him to come in close enough where you can get a shot. Well, duck hunting is no different, but there's a lot more strategy to me that goes into duck hunting: decoy placement, motion. There's so many other factors. So it's a game of strategy, and it takes years and season after season after season to really get some good experience and good, be in some different situations to get some good knowledge under your belt. But you'll learn every season. You'll learn more and more and more, and you can apply that to the next season and the next season. You'll get better. Rick says they got 3 in Wisconsin. You talking about the wood duck limit? I'm guessing 3 in Wisconsin. Yeah, I wish they would raise it. I actually saw, I think it was last week, maybe the week before. There was a study done. I can't remember if it was by Ducks Unlimited or by Delta. They've been banning more and more wood ducks for 10 years or so, and they're getting a whole lot more information on their migration and their nesting habits, which everybody knows they're cavity nesters. But they're getting a lot more information than they really ever had on wood ducks. So I really do. I expect in the next maybe 5 years, I think that wood duck limit is going to be raised. I don't know if it'll ever go to 4 or go to 5 or more, but I do expect to gain at least 1 in the next few years. I just got a feeling it's going to go to 4. Deer Slayer says woodies are everywhere in the black belt. That is so true. We are full of them, and I think that's kind of the reason I haven't shot them in a long time. I really haven't went after the wood ducks. Not that I don't want to. It's just you can only go and shoot so many wood ducks before it gets to where it's just not that much fun anymore. They fly right there first thing in the morning, right there at first light, and it's usually, you can only kill 3, so it can literally be over in 10 minutes. And then we don't have a whole lot of other birds unless we get some really cold weather. We get a few gadwalls, some green wings here and there, and an occasional group or 2 of mallards. Not a lot out there, primarily on just a woody shoot. It will take you longer to get set up and everything and packed up and get out of there than it will to get a limit. So it can be so fast. But I plan to shoot some this year. Like I said earlier, between trips this year, I think I'm gonna go bang on some woodies this year. I hadn't been on a good woody beat down in a few years, so kind of got the urge to just go shoot them in the face this year. Swamp Hunter says, hey buddy, 3 years in hunting beaver pond back in Bottom Oaks, Water Oaks. Love the woodies, South Montgomery County, Alabama. Man, that's awesome. You're not too far from me, man. That's pretty cool. Hunting in beaver ponds, man, that's prime woody habitat right there. Says he hunts mallards and woodies all over South Montgomery. Deer Slayer. Yeah, I've heard that. Montgomery, that area up there, gets a few birds. The biggest problem I have here where we are, all we have is a river system, and we have a reservoir where the dam is. They backed it up, just got some flooded places down in it. We call them cuts, coves. Some people call them coves. But the biggest problem we have here is every time that we start getting some moist soil, vegetation, whether it be smartweed. I mean, we even we had some milfoil at one time, hydrilla, things like that. And the Corps of Engineers comes out here and they got this giant airboat and they go around and they spray all of that vegetation. They kill everything that the ducks have to feed on. So all we have here is water and sawgrass and mud. I mean, other than a few little invertebrates and bugs and things like that in the water, little minnows and fish and things like that, we don't have anything to offer them where I live. And that's a bad thing. We've got so much sawgrass, you know, even the oak trees and stuff lining the sloughs and around the coves and cuts back in there. There's so much sawgrass. I mean, you're talking 30, 40, 50 yards of sawgrass before you even get to the bank. So the acorns are not even getting into the water for the ducks to get to. So I mean, it's ridiculous. It's really, really not good habitat where I am. Luke says Woodies are his favorite ducks to shoot. It's 3 where he's from. Yeah. Hey, I love to shoot them. You know, I know, you know, last year, I don't know if you saw the video, me and Jake and the golden boy from Freelance Duck Hunting, Aiden, Cherry Creek Outdoors, we were all up there hunting together last year in South Arkansas, and we banged on them one morning. We shot the crap out of some woodies. You know, it's always fun to go on a good woody shoot. William Self says he would like to see a video on when to call and when not to call. Read the ducks as they're circling. I try to explain it to my sons, but sometimes it's better hearing it from somebody else. Man, you know, I got a video coming out not tomorrow, Wednesday. I'm losing track of my days. I got a video coming out Wednesday that's on 3 calls that every duck hunter needs to learn. And it's not really about when to call, even though there are some points in there about when to call. They can watch that video. It may help them out. But I can do a video on that for sure. But I'm just saying, get them to watch that video. It'll kind of help them build a cadence. There's some different calls to add into your cadence when you're calling. But you know, if you're looking for some information right now, I tell everybody, call them on the corners. Don't ever call them when they're coming straight at you. I mean, the only thing you can do at that point is mess them up, is mess things up for yourself. Call them on the corners, wingtips and tail feathers, or butts. That's what you want to do. They come by you, they circle, and they get behind you, and they get about 50 plus yards, 75, 100 yards behind you, hit them. When they come back around and fly over, they get out in front of you, they get on pie, wingtips and tail feathers, hit them again. You know, wingtips and tail feathers. That is a golden rule of calling ducks or working ducks. Never call them when they're coming right at you. Wingtips and tail feathers when they're going away from you. Call it their butts. Rick says, I can shoot a lot of buffleheads, but I let them fly by. Yeah. You know, if you watch my channel, you know, when things get pretty tough around here, I head down to the Gulf, saltwater Gulf area, and I go shoot some divers. We get into some redheads, some bluebills, buffleheads, and man, I'll shoot them in a heartbeat. Those are the toughest little ducks, man. I mean, goodness gracious, you can knock them down, but man, if you didn't kill him stone dead on the first shot, man, you'll waste 3 shells trying to kill them little suckers. They are the toughest little ducks. Let's see. Deer Slayer says it's hard here to get on mallards, man. Yeah, Alabama wide, man. It is hard to get on mallards here in Alabama. Like I said earlier, the Lake Gunnersville area, I hear a lot of good things about hunting up there. But they have a lot to offer the ducks. I mean, it's a lot of water up there. It's a huge lake. I've actually been up there, done a lot of bass fishing up there before, and they've got a lot of underwater vegetation up there, milfoil, hydrilla, all kinds of things up there. Rick W says, great. Yeah, man, I'm drinking on a Mountain Dew tonight. I like a Mountain Dew. I'm a really big Dr. Pepper man, but sometimes I just got to get a break, and I go for the 93 octane, the Mountain Dew. Let's see, Luke Fawcett. If you kill a mallard on Lake Toledo Bend, where I hunt, you're super lucky. Never been over there. I've seen some bass fishing on Lake on Toledo Bend, but never been there myself. Swamp Hunter said we tried to plant millet but back-to-back hurricane tropical storm killed us on keeping the pond pumped out and busting dams. I'm assuming you're talking about last year. You're talking about last season, Swamp Hunter, with planting the millet, or you're talking about this year. I know, we haven't had much as far as tropical storms this year compared to last year. This time last year, well, let's see, the last week of October last year, we had that hurricane come right up the gut in the Mobile Bay up there, and it really did a lot of damage here at the house. It tore some siding and stuff off the house, had a tree down, tore up the kids' trampoline. It was a pretty big mess. We were out power for about 3 or 4 or 5 days, something like that. But I was in Nebraska at the time, so it didn't really affect me. But I left the wife here with no power. But no, she was good. She went out to my in-laws have a camp out on the river, and they got a generator, so she was shacked up with them while we were in Nebraska, so she was good. But you talking about last season, Swamp, with the hurricanes and whatnot? Just curious. Great and curves. Those hunting details are great. Chess match for sure, but the fellowship is the best part. Even when you have one of those empty sky days. Oh yeah, man. I mean, hey, some of the best days I've had duck hunting had nothing to do with the number of kills, man. It was the people I met, the conversations we had, stories we told, things like that. So, I know Jake and we were hunting in Arkansas last year, and we had some guys walk in on us that were coming to hunt the same hole we were, but we beat them there. And it was about a 1.5 mile walk. I mean, we got there super early so we could make sure we get the hole that we wanted. And those guys come walking in about 45 minutes before shooting time, and that they were just slap out. We just got there early and beat them, but they were like, man, can we be? And we don't walk 1.5 miles to get here. We was like, man, heck yeah, y'all come hunt with us. And we killed a few ducks that morning, a few mallards. Actually, even killed a pintail in the timber, which was kind of strange. Don't see that a lot. But man, those two guys were some really, really cool guys. Really nice, great guys to hunt with. Good, awesome duck callers. They had a lab with them. One of the best labs I've ever hunted with, besides the one I hunted with a few weeks ago in Nebraska. That guy had a jam up dog. But up until that point, those guys in Arkansas, they had a really, really jam up dog. So yeah, man, it's not about killing ducks. Like I said, some of the best hunts I've ever been on was just conversations and experiences we shared and things like that in the woods. It didn't really have anything to do with the amount of kills. Swamp Hunter says they have a lot of smart weed. Yeah, we have none here. We used to, about 10 years ago, maybe a little longer than that, 10, 15 years ago, we had a lot of smart weed here. And like I was saying earlier, the Corps engineers come in here with their airboat and just wiped out all the moist soil plants and vegetation and habitat. And now we just got water and sawgrass, and that just, it's just nothing to offer. And we used to hold a good many birds here where I'm at, and every year, I keep a log. I don't know if y'all do that, if you can see that, but I keep a book of every hunt I go on, what I saw, what I killed, how many birds I saw, who was with me, what we killed, what the weather was like, what the wind was like, everything. And I can go back in my books and prove it. It's been a slow decline in the amount of birds we see here in the past 10 years. Let's see. Rick says I'm locked up and not coming through. I don't know why. I'm sure my internet signal is really good. Okay, he said, Rick says it's better to hunt together than fight each other over the same. Yeah, man, that's not what it's about. It's about getting out there and having a good time and enjoying God's creation and having a good hunt and killing some ducks. It's not about, getting mad and shooting other people's birds and messing them up while they're trying to work birds and things like that, which is something you run into a lot on public land. But people need to get away from that. We all just need to work together. Luke Fawcett says, what kind of shells do you shoot? I shoot Kent. I used to shoot Walmart Specials and Winchesters. Last season, I started off, I bought a case of the Kent Fast Steel 2.0 number 2s, 3-inch. And I shot them up until right before Christmas, I guess. And I I've been hearing some of my friends. I've been hearing a lot about those ball shells. Well, I decided to try some of the ball shells. Well, I bought some last year, and I shot them for the remainder of the season. The last part of December and the whole month of January, I shot nothing but balls. They are expensive, but I can tell you they are worth every penny of it if you have the money to spend on them. And that's what I'm shooting this year. I bought a case of the Boss shell, and I shoot the combos, the number 3.5 mix, and in the 3-inch, and they are awesome. I noticed, like I said, I keep a book. My cripple ratio went way down. I mean, like I could sit down and do the math and come up with a percentage for you, but it was ridiculous what how well my shooting improved, my kills increased, and my cripple ratio decreased tremendously. So I am a strong believer in Boss shot shells. Now it doesn't necessarily have to be Boss. It's the bismuth load, but I don't know how much you know about bismuth, but bismuth can be bad about the pellet breaking up in flight. So Boss has copper coated their pellets to eliminate that. And I don't know if it makes a difference or not. I think it does. But, if you can afford the Boss shells, I really, really encourage you to give them a shot. I've been looking into some other shells they started selling here at home, and that's the Migras. They have a stack load too. They have some number 1 and number 3 stack load. They have a number 2 and number 4 stack. And I think they have a number 2 and number 3 stack load too. I like a stack load. I like having some big shot followed up by some small shot. And I thought about trying them as well this year, but I hadn't bought any yet. But I do have a case of Boss, and Cade also. I bought 2 cases of Boss, case for me and case for him. So we got plenty of shells. Yeah, I don't know why it's locking up, man. That's crazy. I don't know. It's obviously something to do with the internet, obviously, but looking at my internet signal right here, it's showing good. So I have no idea, unless it could be on YouTube's end. I'm not sure. Swamp Hunter says he shot Kent bismuth 2 years ago. Good shells. Last year, black clouds with black max mid-range choke. Love them. Yeah, Cade, my son, if you watch my videos, you know who Cade is, my oldest son. He's been a big black cloud man. He's always liked black cloud. Last year, I bought a case of the Kent Fast Deal 2.0s. That's what I shot for the first half of the season before I switched to Boss. And he wanted black clouds, so I bought him a case of black clouds. And man, he loves them. He shoots very well with them. They pattern well. The Kents pattern very well, and those Boss shells pattern very well as also. So yeah, man, I got nothing. I got nothing against black cloud shells. I've shot them before in the past. They pattern very well out of my gun. I think they're really good shells. They burn clean, which most federal shells are. They're not trashy. They're very clean shells. So yeah, nothing wrong with black cloud shells, but it really all comes down to what patterns well and which shells your gun likes. I got a buddy of mine who has patterned black clouds through his gun, and they don't pattern worth a crap. But you put them in my Franchi, and it patterns like a dream. So I mean, it's all in what your gun wants and what your gun likes. Let's see, deep motor. Tail, do you prefer? I haven't been able to see the 16-foot boat bits. I do not have a mud motor. I'm running a Yamaha outboard, 25 horsepower outboard. But I do have a mud motor video coming. My son, oldest boy, Cade, I was just talking about, he had a little summer job this year working with some carpenters, with some framers. And he saved up his money, and he just bought him a mud motor. It's a small one. I think it's a 16 horse. It's called a mud skipper, mud runner, or something like that. I'm not really sure. Anyway, it's one of those kits, it comes with the engine and the midsection and all that. You build it yourself, put it on. And I shot a little video of the assembly and mounting it on the boat and things like that. We have not taken it out yet. We have not been able to, due to my work schedule and My little boy's birthday party was this past weekend, so we've really been pretty busy. Haven't been able to take it out for the maiden voyage yet, but we're looking forward to that. But if I was going to go buy a mud motor, honestly, my number one option would be Gatortail, and my number two option would be a Mud Buddy. A friend of mine has a Gatortail boat and motor, the 40 horse XTR or whatever, the GTR, whatever it is. And that thing is bad. I can tell you, we hunted down in the south, down around the Bay Area a lot with it a couple of years ago, and we also went to South Louisiana down there in the South Louisiana marsh, and that mud down there is something serious, and you're not going to get around with an outboard. But that Gatortail is the real deal if you can afford it. Let's see. Luke Fawcett, just for a heads up, if you come to Toledo Bend to duck hunt, get ready to get in arguments with people setting up on you and sky busting the birds you're working. It will make you mad. Yeah, that's public land, man. But I typically don't have that trouble because I make a point and I make every effort to get as far away from people as I possibly can. And what I mean by saying that is I pick the hardest places to get to and the longest walks, because most people won't put in that much effort, and I do. And sometimes it pays off, sometimes it don't. You may get skunked more than you bang on them, but the days you bang on them, it can be good. So, you know, I'm the guy who's quick to walk a mile and a half, 2 miles to get to a hole. A lot of people won't do that. They're not about packing in, you know, a dozen plus decoy, shotgun, waiter, blind bags, sleds. They're not willing to go that far. But if you can make yourself do it, it can really, really pay big dividends. So I encourage you, when you do your scouting, find the most secluded, hardest to reach place you possibly can and focus on it, because it's not going to have a lot of pressure most of the time. You're not going to be many people there. And if they are there, they'll usually welcome you because they know how much work you put in to get there. Let's see. Great. Welcome back, Mr. Rick. Credit deserved. Not going. I almost quit down here in Arkansas because of that foolishness. Yeah. Yeah, man. I know a lot of people that gave it up on public land due to people like that, and they went and joined a duck club, or, you know, bought into a lease or something like that. And there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing at all. You know, some people just can't deal with it. You know, they let their emotions get the best of them, and that's all right. There's nothing wrong with that. But I enjoy the chase on public land. That's what it's about to me. I like to be able to go out there, get a full limit of birds or whatever it may be, and come back to the house and be like, yep, I did that on public land. You know, anybody can go bang on them on private or lease, but to go out there and really burn them on public land, there's a whole nother level of pride that comes along with that and accomplishment. Swamp Hunter said, Stoger M3500 here. I almost went with the Franchi. Both some good jam up fire sticks. Yeah, for sure, man. I've never had a Stoger. I went with the Franchi. I've only got, well, I've got actually 3. I bought one for myself. I bought one for Cade, and I bought my daughter one too. But my brother kind of put me on Franchis. He's shot them for years at Dove and whatnot, and he loves them. You know, and then, you know, a few years ago, Benelli bought Franchi, and now the Franchi has the Benelli inertia system in it. So that was another selling point for me. Not to mention it comes with a 7-year warranty, which was a big bonus. You know, so that's pretty cool. Deer Slayer says, what brand of boat do I use? You can check them out online. I bought my boat from North Alabama in Decatur. There's a company up there. You can find them on Instagram too, but they got a website. It's called Backwoodslanding.com is the name of the website. That's the name of the boat dealership. They sell well-built boats, and that's what I've got. I don't know if you've ever watched Freelance Duck Hunting, if you ever watched him, if you've ever seen his boat. He has a well-built boat. I have the exact same boat. The only difference in mine and his, I think he has a couple of bench seats across the middle. I got mine with an open floor plan, just to allow for more gear. But that's what I'm running. I've got a 15-foot by 48 aluminum well-built boat with a Yamaha outboard 25 horsepower outboard on it. That's what I'm running. Lynn says, "Hey Alan, what binocular and what power do you use?" I've got 2 pair. I've got a pair of Leopolds, however you want to pronounce that. They are 10 by 42s, I believe, or 10 by 40, something like that. And I've got a pair that I use. Now those Leopolds those are Cades, but I call them mine because I paid for them. But I have a pair of the Vortex optics. I think they're called Diamondbacks, maybe. They got some Diamondbacks, some Vipers, or something like that. I think mine are the Diamondbacks, and they're 12 by 50s. I think that's what they are. 12 by 50, 12 by 52, something like that. What mine are. Very nice binoculars. I have used Cades, those Leopolds, before. Very clear, really good glass, really good zoom on them, good clarity. But I'm not really sure the difference in the glass in the Leopold versus the Vortex. But the Vortex blows that Leopold out of the water. So I am a big, big believer and promoter of Vortex optics. Like I said, mine are the Diamondbacks. They wasn't that expensive. They were like $230, $240, $50, something like that. I'm not exactly sure. Don't quote me on that. But if you're looking for a pair of binoculars or a spot and scope, I highly, highly recommend the Vortex Optics brand. You will not be disappointed. Deer Slayer says he's thinking of selling his bass boat and getting a well built. Man, that's your that's your call. But I don't think you'll go wrong with that well build. I bought that thing in 2011, and it has been abused. It's been run all through the timber in Arkansas, been run into trees, and it's been beat on, run across rocks, and I've never had a leak, nothing. It's a great boat, lightweight, love it. Let's see. Graydon Curse, I have to say, I really like this small live chat. Not everyone talking over each other. Like I said earlier, it's about the fellowship. This is what it's about, y'all. Oh, yeah, man. Hey, I'm glad to have you on here. Glad to have you supporting the channel. I really, really appreciate it. It's things like this that keeps me going week in and week out. If you follow the channel, I post a video every Wednesday at 10 o'clock in the morning. And it's this right here. It's you guys in the chat, in the comment section every week, hitting that thumbs up button, commenting on the videos. This thing keeps me going, other than the fact that I do really enjoy making the content. But like I said, that's why I was asking earlier if y'all had any ideas, had anything, any videos you'd like to see. Feel free, drop them in the comments below. Let me know, man. Duck hunting, you can only talk about so much stuff before you begin to repeat yourself. So, and I've been doing it for a long time. So, and I like to try to help as many new people to the sport as I possibly can. So if you got anything you want to know or videos you like to see, feel free, drop them in the comments below and let me know for sure. I'll be glad to try to get a video done on that if I can, depending on what the topic is. But if I can help you, I'd be glad to. Let's see. Swamp Hunter says, does Echo make any woody calls? Not that I'm aware of. You could call them and talk to him on the phone. You need to call up there and ask to speak to a guy named Jonathan. I actually just talked to him a few days ago. He's a really good guy. His nickname is Johnny Duck Call. So you can call up there and pick up. You're gonna get the secretary on the phone. Tell her you need to speak to Jonathan, aka Duck Call, and she will transfer you to him. And if they make one or can make one, he will be the one to tell you. You can look on their website. I know they make some goose calls, some speck calls, and obviously mallard duck calls, but I'm not sure about the wood duck. I honestly don't think they do.
But now I don't know if you saw my duck call, my wood duck call video that I did back this summer. I don't think there's a better sounding wood duck call on the market that can beat the Duck Commander wood duck call. Just my opinion. I'm not ever, claiming to be the best when it comes to knowing who's got the best call, but I don't think you can go wrong with that Duck Commander wood duck call. There's another wasp in here. I don't know what the heck is going on. Where they're coming from, to find that out. Excuse me, I got a wasp in here. I don't know where these suckers are coming from. They slipped in here on me. It's cool weather, but I got to run inside, I reckon. But yeah, man. Excuse me, I'm dropping everything here. Duck Commander wood duck call. That to me is the best sounding wood duck call on the market, hands down. And it's really cheap. So if you lose it, break it, whatever happens, buy you another. They don't cost like $20, I think, something like that. But that's it right there. You need that one. If you're gonna call wood ducks, that's the one you need. But bear in mind, it's extremely hard to call a wood duck. The stars have got to align. You got to be in the right place at the right time, and you got to be exactly where that wood duck wants to be, or all the blowing on this sucker in the world ain't gonna bring him in there to you. So just keep that in mind. Lynn says he's got the Vortex HD Diamondback 8x42. Just got him. Yeah, man. I've never had the 8x42s. Like I said, the Leopolds I've got are the 10x42s, and then my Vortex optics that I've got, I think they're 12x50s or 52, something like the 12 by whatever they are, something like that. And I think they're the Diamondbacks. They may be the Vipers or Razors or whatever. I'm not real sure. I'd really be lying to you if I told you, but they're the 12 by something. I love them. I think they're hands down the best optics on the market right now. Luke Foster said, I have a pair of Gator waders. They're insulated, but they weigh nothing perfect for me. Hope I can be able to save up and get a stump jumper boat for duck hunt next year. Yeah, man, that's what it's about. I mean, you don't have to go out there and get all into duck hunting and go and spend a fortune, on gear and boats and motors and all that kind of stuff. If you live in an area where you've got walk-in hunting, there's nothing wrong with saving your money and waiting a few years before you get a boat. All a boat really does is it just increases and widens your area of hunting, your capabilities of places you can go and get to. So it can really be a huge asset over a lot of people. Graydon says we got access by asking and then working our butts off, helping the land. A lot of pride in that, and it's turned out to a great relationship. Yeah, man, that's great. If you can gain access to some private ground and then become friends with the farmer like that and help those guys out during the off season, just to be able to hunt, man, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, I know the farmer, I'm sure he appreciates that probably way more than you know. That's a really small price to pay for him to allow you to hunt, from what he gains in return. So, man, that's awesome. Rick says, do you ever use 4 Mojos at one time? I think the most I've ever ran is 3. I have 6, 7 of them total. I got 2 teal. Yeah, I got 2 teal, 3 mallards, and I got 2 divers. So never used them all at one time. If I ever set up in a dry field for ducks, obviously I would have as many of them out there as I could get because, that's really the only motion you got. And those spinners can play a huge factor into decoying ducks in the field. But no, I've never used over 3 that I can think of. And that was during teal season. During regular duck season, I like to have 1 or 2 out, and I do my best to hide them. I don't want them to be seen. I don't want them out there in the open water. I try to put them up in the grass under a tree, something like that. I want the ducks to be able to see them as they work, but I also want them to be able to lose sight of them as well. Because if they see that constant flash, they'll flare off of it in a heartbeat. But as they're working, if they see it and then they lose sight of it and they see it again, it can really, really help finish the ducks on into your hole. Graydon says a big part of us giving up public game
came down to safety. I started hunting the white and cash bottoms in the late 80s when I was a little boy, but the behavior of the people was in the, yeah, man, it can be, public land's public land, and there's always going to be that one group of guys or a couple of groups of those just negative people, man, that can just really ruin it for a lot of people. Bottoms now has gotten dangerous. Yeah. Are you talking about like bottomland bottoms, or are you talking about hand bottoms over there? I'm not sure which bottoms you're talking about. But yeah, man, anywhere there's a large gathering of public hunters on public land, there's always typically going to be some sort of conflict. But like I said earlier, if you can pinpoint and pick out the place way away from the normal traffic, sometimes it can pay really big dividends. Now, you may have to work your butt off to get there, but it can really pay off for you. Oh, let's see. Luke said that he saved up and got him a P-Row with a trolling motor built in, and it burned up the trolling motor he burned up the trolling motor during teal season. It's in the shop. Hopefully you get it back soon. Yeah, man, I hope so. Are you having the trolling motor rebuilt? Is that what you're doing? Well, they getting the little, did you burn up the motor, or did you burn up the little diode in there? It has a little diode in there that makes it work, actually. Some of them do. I don't know what brand it is. Did you burn the whole shebang up? That's something I've always kind of wanted to do, was like put me together like a little sneak boat with a trolling motor, because there's so many places that I could get to if I had that. And I really don't know if it'd be worth it or not as far as the ducks goes, but it's always kind of been something I've been in the back of my mind. Just another way to get away from a lot of people. Oh, let's see. William Self says, who here does not have a band and has been hunting for 5 years? Is it just me? Been hunting since 91, no band, but 3 kids I take hunting all have bands. Let's see, man. Like I said, I'm 36 years old. Been hunting since I was 14, and I have one. I have one band, and I've never killed another one, obviously, and I haven't been on a hunt where anybody in the group killed one. So, we're all hoping to get some bands like everybody else. My band experience was pretty cool, man. I killed it in 2011, I think it was, or maybe in 10, one of the two. And anyway, I had 2 woodies come in decoying, and I stood up and killed both ducks in one shot, and walked out there to pick them up. It was a drake and a hen. Walked out there to pick them up, picked up the hen first, picked up the drake, and he was banded. So that was pretty cool. 2 ducks, 1 shot, and the drake was banded. So that was pretty cool. He was from Iowa. He had been banded in Iowa. Again, I killed him here in South Alabama. But those kids having bands, man, that's cool. That's awesome for kids to get bands. I know there's a young kid here where I live. This past season was his first year duck hunting, and he only killed a few handful of birds, but he did right there towards the end of the season. He killed a banded wood duck, and I was like, man, golly, beginner's luck if there's ever been any. But hey, that's great for him. I'm happy for him. Tim Cochran says he started in the 80s, and he's only shot 1 band. Hey, that's one more than a lot of people's got. Because I know a guy personally, he's been hunting for 40 years and never killed one. So it's just, it's just the luck of the draw, I guess. But you never know. You got to get out there and try. You can't kill them at the house, so you got to get out there and try. You never know. Anytime you pull the trigger, you go out there and pick up a bird, it could be wearing a little jewelry. Rick says, I was always diver hunting for 10 years with no bands. Then I started hunting inland waters and got mallard bands and goose bands. See, that's what I want. I want to kill a banded mallard or banded pintail, obviously. But I want some of them big honker bands. I'd like to get me a band or 2 of them. and some specs. I've never been spec hunting. I've always wanted to go shoot some specs, but I don't have the gear for it. I don't have any decoys or anything like that. I don't have anywhere to go hunt them, and it's hard to find a field as far as a public place to set up on them sometimes. You know, a lot of times they tend to be on the private ground. But yeah, that's something pretty cool. I'd like to go do that. I'd like to shoot some specs. Luke said he burned up the motor. His P-Row was made by Bobcat. It's a 15-foot, and he bought some speakers for it and a light bar and took it out the next morning, and it all went downhill, heading to the hole that morning. Oh man, that sucks. I hate that for you, buddy. I hope you can get that that figured out. I wonder what. I don't know what. Obviously, I wasn't there, so I don't know what caused the motor to burn up. I mean, was it overweighted, or did you get in some thick mud or some grass or something wrapped around the prop and they put it in a bind and burn it up, or do you know what caused it? So maybe you don't run into that again. Got the TV on in here. I got Echo Mallard Madness on the TV. They in here banging on some greenhead. I just heard some ringing hell calls that caught my attention. So is most of y'all seasons in? I know the guys that was on here saying they were from Alabama. Obviously, I know their season's not in. But the rest of y'all, I know Rick's season's in. What about the rest of y'all? If y'all season come in, y'all have any luck seeing a lot of birds? Swamp Hunter says, I just saw this one up here. He said he's got 2 duck commanders and 1 Buck Gardner wood hammer. Talking about the wood duck calls. William said, hello, well, good to hear. I'm starting to feel cursed. No, man, you ain't cursed. There's a lot of people out there that ain't got no bands, that's been chasing them for years. And just, like I said, I know a guy who's been hunting for 40 years and he has never killed a band. So, and never even been on a hunt with other people when somebody else killed one, for that matter. So, no, man, it's just luck of the draw, I guess, Let's see. Swampers, I love the chat, guys. Got to run. Y'all be safe out there. Enjoy the time. Yeah, man. Glad to have you on. I appreciate it. Art Martin says, I started hunting in 96 and I have shot 1 band from a honker band in Kentucky, shot in Michigan. Started hunting when he was 10. He's 21 now and has 2 bands, 1 from a honker, 1 from a mallard. Very cool, man. Very cool. Tim Cochran says, not till Thanksgiving here in Illinois, just deer hunting right now. Illinois, man, I had no, for whatever reason, I've just been convinced, for whatever reason, I thought you were in Kansas. I had no idea you were from Illinois. I don't know why I thought that. I don't know what gave me that idea, but for whatever reason, I thought you were from Kansas. I thought you lived in Kansas. All right. Glad I never said anything then. Oh, Evan is on here. Been slow in Nebraska so far. Need a cold front. All right, guys. Evan hunted. We met up with him and his friend Chandler in Nebraska teal hunting. He's been subscribed to the channel for a long time. And we had a really, really good time hunting with him and Chandler. 2 awesome guys. 2 of the greatest guys I've ever had the pleasure to hunt with ever. Man, Evan, I really, really enjoyed the time we spent together up there. Look forward to doing it again sometime soon, maybe. I don't know if I'm going to make it back to Nebraska or not this year. I want to, and I'd kind of thought about it. I'd kind of thought about maybe trying to hit Nebraska for a couple of days before I go on my next trip with Jake, but I don't think that's going to happen. I know I think you and I had actually talked about that while I was up there in September, but it don't look like that's going to happen. I just don't think so. But I do hope, hey, maybe next season we can get together again, whether it be during teal season or maybe during regular season. Rick says, are you going to make the video we talked about? I don't want to give it away. Yes, I am going to do that video. I'm you know, I'm really not sure when I'm going to do it because, you know, without giving anything away on here, Rick, you know what the topic is about. I'm actually kind of waiting for him to begin the work on my stuff. You know what I'm talking about? Before I actually start rolling, doing the video. Because he's got a lot of other things that are ahead of me, you know, which I'm a non-paying customer, so I kind of get pushed down to the bottom, you know, for the lack of better words. But yeah, so I'm kind of waiting on that to happen. And like I said, I know a lot of you are probably confused about what in the world we're talking about, but Rick and I had a conversation going a few weeks ago by text message and about a video he'd like to see, and I told him that was something that was already kind of in the works, but I'm waiting on him to start working on some of the things that actually belong to me before I start the actual filming process of that. Let's see. Luke Fonson says he hit the boat ramp with the prop and bent the shaft, so it started letting water in slowly, but slowly I'm not too easy on my stuff when I'm trying to be first in the hole. Hey, man, duck hunters are extremely rough on their gear, and the more hardcore hunter you are, the worse you're going to be on your gear. So prepare for a long of repairs and replacing of gear. It's the name of the game. Lynn says, yes, sir. Our season is in. Pacific Flyway. The switch is on. That's good, man. Y'all seeing a lot of birds? Y'all getting a lot of migrators already up there? I know you're in Washington, so you're pretty far up there. Y'all seeing a lot of birds? Tim says, I wish. Are you talking about from Kansas? Man, you know, Illinois is a pretty cool place. I don't know about for waterfowl. I don't know. You know, you don't hear a lot about the state of Illinois when it comes to duck hunting, but now y'all got some big deer up there. I know that's right. Let's see. Graydon's here said, talking about the area of around clearing the longest. So we tried for a couple years, but between the boat races, total fools, and the people coming in as soon as you shoot a few. Yeah. Hey, man, I feel you, man. I'm not interested in hunting anywhere where they're going to be doing the boat races like they used to. I don't think that still goes on anymore. I had heard the game wardens had kind of cracked down on that. Not exactly sure. Not from Arkansas, so I'm not really up to date on all that. Jake might know more about it. But I've always heard about the boat races and things that go on around Biomeda and places like that. Yeah, I'm not with that. That's not for me. Let's see. Okay. Yeah. Tim says he's just a few hours from Jake. Okay, well, that's cool. That's cool. Rick said that would be an awesome LOL. Hey, him, it might speed. Yeah, it probably would. But I'm gonna tell you the backstory on that real quick. A lot of you don't know, because I'm not gonna spill the beans on the video. But and him, it might speed things up. I have no problem with that. But that business he is in actually used to belong to me. That was my business first. I did that on the side for quite a few years. And with things, you know, being a dad, small children, and things going on there in their lives, creating busy lives for parents, ball games, dance recitals, you know the gist. But yeah, it got to where I just didn't have the time for it anymore. So I pretty much sold that business to my dad, turned it over to him, and he does it now. So yeah, that's kind of the brief backstory on that. And I know some of y'all have no idea what I'm talking about, but there's video coming. It'll all make sense to you then. But I don't know exactly when it's going to be yet. Let's see. Graydon's currently, if you want to chase the specs, it can happen. Absolutely no promises, but if you can be okay with private, well, I would love to touch base with you. Yeah, man, hit me up. You can go to the about section on the YouTube channel. My email address is on there. You can send me an email, or you can look me up on Instagram at Black Belt Waterfowl if you have Instagram, and you can send a DM on there. Yeah, and I'll be glad to talk with you on either one of those by email or Instagram DM, whichever you so choose. Let's see. Luke says, I'm the type of guy, I just send it and hope I don't break anything too bad or put a hole in my boat. Hey, man, been there, done that. But as I've gotten a little bit older, and I'm not old by no means, but the older I get, I kind of been gating back on that full sin kind of stuff, you know. I went through a period there in my life when I was just replacing everything, yeah. And I learned that it doesn't take that to get the results I want. So, like I said, but hey, good luck to you, man. I hope it works out. I hope you get your trolling motor fixed and you be back in business. Hope you have a great season. Let's see. William Self says his season starts this weekend out here in Colorado. Cool, man. Do y'all have an early honker? Have y'all been able to shoot? Does your honker season come in before your ducks out there in Colorado? Just curious. Lynn says lots of birds, more than normal. Hey, you guys get ready. It's about to be crazy. You know, like I said, I'm going back to what I was saying earlier. I really believe a very duck season, and it's going to be a little strange for some people. I think. I just really believe with how severe the drought was across the northern plains and Prairie Canada, and the nesting situation and lack of water. I just really think it's going to be a really good duck season for some and really bad for others. I think places that typically hold a lot of birds aren't going to have them this year just due to lack of water. But I could be completely wrong. The water conditions could have changed in those places, you know, since I was really watching it hard back late summer as I was getting ready for a teal trip. So I'm not really sure. Don't quote me on my facts. I just think that you know, due to the lack of water up there, I think it could really be a huge impact for people further down the flyway than it has been in previous years. Let's see. Rick W says, I think you should have a photo contest. Yeah, Rick's all about this photo contest. Well, you know, hey, you know, here's the thing, Rick. You're the only one who sends me photos. So photo contest, it would just be extremely biased. But yeah, man, you know, if any of you guys who are subscribers, if y'all want to send photos or tag me in something on Instagram or whatever, you can email me the photos. My email address is in the about section on the YouTube channel. You can send me that stuff on there. And if I get enough submissions, Rick, I think I will do a photo contest. And I don't know what I don't know what the reward would be. I don't know what I'd give you. Come up with something. I don't know, a blind bag, I don't know, an echo duck call. I can come up with something. We'll have to figure that. We'll have to see how many submissions we got and how many people would be interested in doing the photo contest. But yeah, I'm game for it. But yeah, Rick, he's all for y'all that don't know. Rick and I talk sometimes, text messaging and whatnot. And he sends me photos of ducks he's killed, and he bought one of my black belt waterfowl fleece beanie hats from me last year, and he sent me some photos last year of some ducks and geese he killed with his beanie on and things like that. So that was really cool. But he's always saying, you know, enter me in the photo contest, or I think I be the photo contest winner, et cetera, et cetera. It's always something like that. So it's that's pretty cool. But yeah, man, if I could get people go on there, find my email address, and submit enough photos, or tag me in a photo on Instagram, and in the little comment section, a video announcing that there is a photo going on and how everybody should submit the photos, and we'll go from there. I think it could be cool. We just have to see how many people are really interested in it. Let's see. Luke Foster says, do you have any bad gator problems where you hunt? It's bad during teal season for me. Yeah, I'm not gonna say bad problem. During teal season, they can be an issue. Not an issue as in bothering you or threatening you or anything like that. They do get a little too close for comfort at times. But they are, we'll be out setting decoys and mojos and whatnot, or brushing a blind, whatever it may be, during the season, and you shine your light out across the water and you'll see a couple sets of red eyes, and they may not be, but 50, 60 yards away. But yeah, they are a threat. They are a problem here where I live. We have an abundant supply of alligators, just like we have an abundant supply of wood ducks here. If you go back, and I don't know if you saw it, but if you watched, there's a teal video that I posted a few weeks ago during teal season. I actually had a gator come out of some grass. I knew he was over there. I'd seen him that morning when I was setting up. I seen his eyes, so I knew he was over in that area somewhere. Well, he come out of the grass and was kind of swimming across. Well, he turned and he saw my, all I can figure, he saw the flash from the teal mojos. Well, he turned and he come towards the teal mojos, and it's really hard to tell the distance in the camera because on the lens and the photo, the video, because the camera's not your eye, so your depth perception is really off, but it's really a lot closer than it looks like on film. But he got within about 15, 20 yards of the decoy spread, and he just kind of sat there and just eyeballed and watched those mojos and those decoys for probably the better part of 15 minutes, and he slowly just eased down under the water. And I kind of was thinking he was going to pop up a little bit closer to him, but I kept watching for him, and he actually had moved further out. He had moved about 50, 60 yards away, and he popped back up there by the grass where he came from. So, yeah, they can be a problem here. We do see them a lot during teal season. They're everywhere. And also a lot during the early season and the duck season, because the water temperature here, when duck season comes in here, the water temp is still about in the low 70s, low 70s to the mid 60s. And it's still warm enough for them. They're still pretty active. It takes the water a good while to get cooled down here in the deep south. So usually by middle to the end, about Christmas time, you pretty much won't see them. They're pretty much gone by then, going into hibernation. But if you get a few warm sunny days, late December, early January, you can be riding down the river coming out of a duck hole, and you'll see one laid up on a log or on a bank somewhere. So just because it's cold don't mean they're not out. You get a good warm sunny day and they'll be out sunning. So they're always there somewhere. You just may not see them. Man, I got people sending me all kind of stuff on Instagram. What's going on here? Oh, that's Tim. Let's see. Tim says, "No, just a sample of some Southern Illinois deer." He's sending me some deer pictures. All right, Tim, I appreciate it. I'll check that out whenever we get off here. I'm not going to be rude, but I'll check that out when we get off here. Let's see. Jeff says, maybe with some species, the mallards won't go any further than they need to, as long as they have food. Yeah, well, that's the name of the game, man. I did a live stream last year with Ducks Unlimited's chief scientist, Dr. Tom Mormon, which he's retired now, but he was still active at the time. He told a lot of information on duck migration and what really moves them. And, without going into great detail on here, you can go back and check it out. It's on the video, it's on the channel. You may have to click on videos and then go click on the live videos or something like that. But it's on there. It's a live stream I did with a couple of my buddies at the time, and Dr. Tom was on there. He shared some great information on waterfowl migration. Ultimately, it really just comes down to whether they're not going to get any farther away from their breeding ground as absolutely necessary. And he said, and he even said, he went so far as to say that, even if you get a good coat of snow, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 inches of snow, that a mallard duck, he said, a lot of times they will ride that out. They'll stay there. He can go so many days without food, 3, 4, 5 days without food. A lot of times they will ride it out. As long as they have open water, he said, they will ride the cold out to see if it's going to melt or thaw out. And then he said, after a few days, they kind of make all right, it's time to go, but anyway. So, yeah, he had some really great information.
But it ultimately comes down to weather. You know, they're not going to go any further than from the breeding ground as they absolutely have to. And just because it's cold and you get a light dust in the snow does not mean they're going to pack up and leave, because as long as they can get to the food, they're going to eat it. That's basically what it boils down to. Let's see. Let me get down here in the questions. Graydon Smith, the warden traffic is still crazy. I'm hoping for a middle of the week clear and cold morning this season. Just wants to run up the river. We shall see with fingers crossed. Yeah, man, I hope it works out for you. Good luck to you. I hope so. Luke says his dog almost got ate 3 times by 3 different gators. Yeah, see, that's another thing with me and hunting around here with a dog. I would not take my dog hunting here until it was late season, just because I have seen way too many alligators during teal season. I wouldn't even entertain the thought of taking a dog during teal season. It's just way too risky. I mean, they are everywhere. Early season, same thing. Too warm, water's still too warm. They're not going to go hibernate until that water gets cold enough where they really, can't move around much. So, no, not for me. William Self says, in Florida, we have gator and python problems. Pythons are worse. You don't see them and they just pull your dog under. Yeah, I can imagine that, man. I've seen, the swamp people guys down there catching those pythons and hunting them and stuff. And man, that's crazy. You would think, I don't know. I've heard multiple stories on how those pythons showed up down there in the Florida Everglades and places down there. I don't know. Some people say it's from people turning their pets loose. And then I also heard it was a study done by, some of the wildlife departments down there to see if they could live in that habitat down there. And well, lo and behold, they did. They're prospering. But I just don't understand why they would want to bring a species like that's not native to the country, and now they've created a problem. I just don't understand it. Oh, all right. Well, if y'all got any more questions, y'all get them up real quick. We've been on here I've been on here about an hour and 37 minutes, going on an hour and 40 minutes. Just to jump off of here. It's 9:37 here in South Alabama. Just to jump off here and go inside and get some shut-eye, man. I really appreciate y'all joining in tonight. I know it's been a long time since I've been live. We used to do some weekly live streams. Me, myself, Magnolia Flyways, and then True Southern Waterfowlers. We don't really do the group thing anymore. We are still friends, but we just don't do the group thing. We all kind of had different plans and ideas for where we wanted to go with our channels, so we just kind of went separate ways. But we are still friends. We do still talk, and like I said, we made a really great friendship last year doing the live streams, and we are still good friends. We just don't do the live streams anymore. But I really have enjoyed jumping on here tonight. Like I said, I was just sitting around after supper, and I said, you know what? I told my wife, I'm going to go out there to the office. I'm going YouTube live and see if I can get anybody to join in. So I really enjoyed you guys tonight. I'm supposed to jump off of here. I hadn't had any questions come in a good bit. So I'm going to jump off of here. Y'all be looking forward to the video this week. Like I said, it's going to be some calling stuff on there. About a little bit about working ducks. Not a whole lot. It's basically just 3 types of calls that you need to learn to use and incorporate into your cadence. And as far as working birds and trying to sound like more birds on the water. So I hope these tips help y'all out. Y'all look forward to that video. I appreciate y'all more than you know. I promise you, you have no idea how much I appreciate and love the support you guys give me each and every week. Y'all really mean a lot to me. So I appreciate y'all's time tonight. Thank you for taking time away from your family to join in with me on here on YouTube. I really, really appreciate it. And I look forward to seeing y'all in the comment section on Wednesday. Y'all have a good night. God bless. And y'all bust them up.